Oh, yeah. Hi, Mike.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. And I'm looking forward to talking about one of my favorite topics. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good day to be alive.
And it is a very interesting topic today. Today, we're going to talk about manifesting money. And money is
Mm,
very interesting because right now in Western world, modern world, we need money in order to survive. But I suppose in
mm,
essence, it's not necessarily the money, it's what we can purchase with that money, isn't it? But
yeah,
we're
absolutely.
all in a situation where things are becoming more expensive, people are worried and concerned. And so the idea of being able to manifest this, it sounds absolutely amazing. So please, Mike, tell me a bit more about how can we manifest money.
Wow. I think the first thing to if we can get over the hurdle of understanding, understanding, overstanding that everything's energy, if we can just get over the hurdle of that and realize that money's also energy. Now we get away from the old philosophy. We've got to work hard to earn money. That's one perspective. But there is also the energy perspective. We can manifest um, money. Now, that might be very far fetched to the average person because they've not been trained or they don't comprehend the whole scenario, the whole science behind manifesting money. But first and foremost, we've got to realize that everything's energy and humans are energy. And there is many sacred laws that work for us and can work against us
Yeah.
based on our perception of reality and the perception of how we attract money to us. Because that's what we're saying here. By consciously, deliberately reorganizing, re just moving the furniture around in your mind to understand that your mind can help you to attract money. So you build what we call a prosperity mindset first, and allowing you to attract through the quantum field money to you. And this will come through ideas, money ideas. This will come through maybe an email. It may come through another a product you can build. But when you work on this understanding that you can change your consciousness to be more to be prosperous, and then things will start to work for you. So prosperity versus poverty mindset. That's the first premise of understanding manifestation with money.
Okay. So is this about you focusing on a number that you want in your bank account, or is this focusing on the items that you would purchase if you had the money, or is it about having the feeling that you would have if you had those possessions or had that in your bank account? Go into a bit more
The
detail.
latter, the latter, the latter. Well, look, if you, one of the things I've learned over the years is that I never had this information as a young man. At the time, I was just holding down three jobs. And I came across a book called One Thing, a great book to read, understanding that if you focus on one thing and become very good at this one thing, you follow your heart. It's your heart chakra that opens up when you're doing this one thing.
Mhm.
Things will manifest for you. So when you understand that our mind or our brain can be trained to manifest money, I didn't realize that because you've got a prosperity mindset and you've got a poverty mindset. Now, let's say you understand the concept that your mind is a transmitter and receiver. That's a game changer in itself to know that the mind is a transmitter and receiver. Now, if you're constantly talking about the abundance of life and how money's attracted to you, and you've got these more opulent, more uh, thoughts of just success, consciousness, things will just mystically and magically happen for you. There's no work there other than just recalibrating, realigning your mindset to higher consciousness and know that things will be attracted to you through ideas, circumstances, situation, events, and even money, a windfall from nowhere. You don't even know how it works, but you understand that everything's energy. And that's the common denominator in regarding to money. So if somebody understand by reprogramming, recalibrating, let's go for it, the big one, the subconscious mind, everything changes.
Lot
Because
of people,
95% of behavior, 95% of someone's habit and behavior is through the subconscious programming.
yes, very, very true. And I think there's an underlying belief that a lot of people have that money is the root of all evil. And there's
Yes.
that maybe you don't deserve to be to have money. So how do you
Mm.
break those kind of those negative thought patterns or those ingrained unconscious kind of patterns that rich people are bad people and evil people, the Mr.
Mm.
Burns of the world?
These are very debilitating, demoralizing, self-defeating, and also it will hinder money coming to you. You just be going around in a merry-go-round by saying things like that. But basically, we live in an age of knowledge now, the golden era. I love this. Never before have we had so much knowledge about everything and anything. And one of them is about money. And when we understand that we just got to lose those self-defeating, those negative internal dialogue about money, then we will start to go onto the golden road of manifestation, because there is what we call law of attraction. There is a law of assumption and there is the law of mentalism. These are mystical laws which actually work in the real world. They're not just abstract ideas. This is very real. Some talk about the Hermetics, some talk about chemic, but these were the sacred teaching from many eons ago. But modern reality, we've lost this. We've lost this. And so what we're doing, one of my favorite sayings, I've said in a few of our lives, people are looking for the light switch in the dark. So if we take two steps back from reality and we start addressing, using a journal, right, where am I with money at the moment? Okay, I've got several jobs I'm doing at the present moment to bring in X amount. Right, now what if I started to study the art of manifestation? Because it is a study, Sophia. You don't just get it. You've got to study the art of manifestation. Now, where does it start? Well, it starts with reprogramming your mind. So one has to take time out, 45 minutes to an hour every day. If it's that serious, if they got me debilitating, negative, or what we call negative thoughts, stroke ants in the head. Ants in the head stand for automatic negative thoughts, which runs in a loop about money. What we have to do now is rewire the whole neurobiology. So they're now talking money affirmations, money mantras, seeing themselves more opulent and feelings that they've already have it. So now we're putting the horse before the cart. All right. And it's all about energy. If people can understand, once again, everything's energy, we're energy, and money's energy. And, we can,
So it's getting you to
attract it
vibrate
to
at
us.
the same level. So you've got to get to the point where you're
Oscillating,
vibrating at the same level. So it sounds like what you
absolutely.
say is that you need to first of all understand what some of your barriers are. Well, how you're thinking and how you're thinking, your stinking thinking, as you like to say. So establish what is
Absolutely.
your thinking. Let's find that, and then decide what exactly you want, and say, well, if I have that, this is how I would feel. And so you sit down, and you meditate on those feelings, those emotions, and those thoughts, and allow the ideas to come to you. It seems like. And I suppose I can understand that the benefits of that, because I think we have a thermostat on finances. And what I mean by that is that there's some people who can have a small amount of money and have and purchase lots of things. And there's other people who have a vast amount of money and always broke. And it's like their thermostat or their view of money allows that to happen. So you've got those people who might win the lottery, and then a couple of years later they're even more poorer than what they were before they won the lottery. And there's other people who come into a small amount of money and it's grown. So I can understand that how we feel and our frequency towards money can have a bearing on how it's going to affect our lives, really. So it's good
Absolutely.
to have that.
I concur. I concur with that. I was going to mention about the lottery, and then coming back to that, going back to that old mindset. Because if we're not reprogramming ourselves, that's what it all really comes down to now. Is taking a new approach, reframing our whole mind, recalibrating, and appreciating there is sacred knowledge that we're not aware of, and this sacred knowledge we need to embrace. Like everything's energy. Now, what if someone said that to you? What would you say? You say, well, I'm gonna have to think about that, because you do. You're gonna have to think about everything's energy. Now, when you can come to that self-realization, that self-actualization, that everything's energy, and that your mind you broadcast from your mind, broadcasting and receiving station. Hence why you do telepathy. People do telepathy. So in the same way, if we want to manifest money in our life, we've got to now just recalibrate our whole psychology, upgrade it, lose, and obliterate all the negative dialogue we have about money's grow on a tree, and all the self-defeating attributes we have about money, and thinking that we're going to work hard for money. No, get into the idea that everything's energy. Once you understand that, I can attract it into my life by the way I'm thinking and the way I'm feeling, and then taking spontaneous action on what you're thinking and feeling, because intuitively you might get an idea. So if you get into what I call the zone state, this is a zone where you're actually getting to go deep gratitude, deep breathing, deep meditation, then you're going to get more ideas you can cope with. You feel like it's Christmas. You think like it's a new year. You think it's your birthday. You think, wow, where these all ideas are coming from? And then you start getting ideas like, oh, wow, I go online, I put 100 ways to earn money. Where did that come from? That was an idea out of the ether that was plucked up because you were in the right frequency, the right energy, and you were susceptible for all these ideas that come into you. So no one has to be poor. They're only poor in the mindset. They're poor in the understanding of how life works. And if we want life to work, we want the leverage of the universe behind us. And that's when magic happens. Isn't that beautiful?
Lovely. I think that definitely the aspect of our thinking is just vastly important. And I think sometimes it could be a scary idea of coming into a great amount of wealth. And maybe that could be a barrier for some people. So maybe as a step, do you suggest that people try and manifest small things? Do you know what I mean? Like a small amount of money, something to try and ease out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, I'd like to say to people, look, we live in an abundance universe.
Yeah.
Abundance. Understand the word abundance. Just study what abundance is.
Yeah.
There's no ceiling to how much you can earn and bring into your life.
Yes.
And if you can appreciate abundance, like the abundance of sand, the abundance of grass, the abundance of the stars, the abundance of the trees, the abundance of the fish in the sea. This is an idea. There's abundance everywhere. If you can just appreciate that, that means there's no ceiling to how much you can earn and what could happen to your life on abundance. And if you can just say, right, how to work again, I just get an abundance mindset. Just understand there's abundance everywhere, and that your body, your mind, and everything about you is a frequency level. You're vibrating. We're vibrating. We're energy vibrating at different frequency, and it's just based on consciousness. So if somebody says, right, let me just work on just raising my consciousness. No, I live in an abundance universe. Start speaking words of opulence. Say, like example, money flows to me easily and effortlessly. And you said that 90 times. And then you go on to another one and you say, I manifest wealth and abundance. You said that 90 times. And you go through 6 of them and you're feeling it and you're dancing and you're feeling good with the life. All of a sudden, something happens. You don't even know how it happened. You're gonna knock on the door. You get this email. Wow, something actually happened beyond the rational mind. That's the thing. We're trying to rationalize it, and this is beyond rational thinking. So it's beyond rational. It's like, remember they talking about the booster? You've got the rocket, the booster, and it goes up into the air, and all of a sudden the mind goes up because now we've gone into a realm which is beyond the mind. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with here, beyond the mind. So when you say to someone, oh, how can I change my life? I said, well, study the law of mentalism, study the law of assumption, and study the law of attraction. These are just basic laws. And then the common denominator with all of this is everything's energy. Yeah. It's just, you need to be a new person. That's what I say to my clients now. You just need to be a new person, because my life is so rich. And rich, I never had this knowledge years ago. As I said, I was holding down 3 jobs, fretting, worrying, bills coming everywhere. I'm just all over the place with everything because of life. I dealt with life on a superficial level. What we're talking about here is you going deep within yourself. You've got to know yourself on a deep intrinsic level, and then things start to work for you. Yeah. Just start to recalibrate, reprogram, readdress how you're thinking. Be aware of your consciousness on a moment by moment basis. And then things start to work for you. This is how we take back the power. And this is how we start manifesting, by understanding, shift out the old mindset, bringing a new mindset, bringing a more opulent mindset, and then start watch as the invisible creates the visible. Wow.
So it sounds like it's definitely changing our focus. And our focus is, if our focus is about lack and living without, then it seems like that's going to bring more into our life. So we need to change our focus to abundance, change our focus to what we have got, the gratitude, the thinking about the opportunities. And it sounds like you're saying not to focus too much on how that's going to happen, but to know that it will happen, and that you deserve that, and you're vibrating at that level and you're feeling that energy. So focus on the energy, feeling, and things that will manifest itself, because that's how the universe works. So it's understanding that that's real. What you think about,
just to complement that, and Sophia, we got distraction. The thing is, what's slowing down people understanding this? Let's put other things that are slowing people down. Worry.
Yes.
Worry. Yeah, that's a frequency, it's energy. Stress. Oh my God, many people I meet, they say, oh, doing so many things. They're running here, they're running there, Mike, I'm so busy. There's stress, fear, fear, all of this, and distraction, the weapons of mass distraction everywhere. All of this brings down your frequency, limits you to your left mind and your rational mind, and subsequently, you're going to go around in that loop, that loopy loop, all the time, thinking, how does this game work? So you really have to take a giant step backward and say, right, I've got work to do on me, because that's what the work is, on me. To say to yourself, look, I've got some work to do with me. I've got to work on my whole psychology. I've got to work on a deeper understanding of how the game of life works. I've got to work on my vocabulary. I've got to get my feeling. I tell you, it's a full-time job. That's the job.
It's a job. I could imagine they'll get easier as you go along, but also I do feel that sometimes they can be a competition of things going wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're stressed. You don't know how stressed I am. And we can get into that discussion with people about how bad things are for them, or a discussion of how bad things are happening in the world. And then that can overtake our energy, because we're thinking about that, we're focusing on all that negativity on the outside world, in our personal world, or our competition with our friends about who's overworked the most. Do you know what I mean? So I suppose it is about breaking that cycle. And you, as you said, identifying the cycle first, identifying that you're doing it, because we might not realize. Do you know what I mean? Some people are very automatic. And I think that, in British culture, it's quite automatic to be quite very humble and to not to praise yourself and to downplay yourself, and Black culture as well, to downplay our children and downplay our skills, when really to boost that energy, we need to boost that in ourselves and acknowledge and appreciate. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, thank you.
I can see
Yeah,
challenges
because
at
we
first.
really have to work we have to work on ourselves because of the personal ego, that self-identification of what we perceive ourselves in the world. That in itself will bring us down.
Yeah.
You know, I am a doctor, I'm a nurse. Nothing wrong with those professions, but that's not who we really are. If we want to manifest, you know, abundance and money, we can identify ourselves a lot more deeper than. So the personal ego. Then we got all our different shadows. You know, the shadow of procrastination, the shadow of the fears, worries, anxiety, the shadow of debilitating habits we might have, drinking, drugs, and that sort of behavior. And then we got the lower self that we're dealing with. You know, self-basement things we're doing. You know, so these are the things that are holding people down from manifesting money. So when they realize all the work's done with me, yes, lower self, higher self, lower self, higher self. That in itself is a massive topic. Lower self, higher self. If you can aspire to your higher self, you're up here in higher consciousness and abundance and an understanding how everything's energy. Then the manifestation starts coming to you. Isn't that beautiful? But if you're here on your lower self and doing all the self-defeating things, and you go around in a loop, and you're in your left brain, and you're rationalizing everything, then it's going to be more of the same. And this money's hard, it's tough, things are getting expensive. I say to my clients, if things get more expensive, sing out these mantras. Sing vibrate it even more. Feel good about the life. Do the opposite to everything. Do the opposite and watch what will happen. You'll see synchronicities, you'll see signs, because the way the game works is to keep you in that slow, lower frequency of understanding of life. So they cap you, you're on a cap. Oh, I've got to get my pension again. And I said, well, you got a pension, and what happens after that when price is still rising up and your pension's the same? Wouldn't it be better to be over here and say, well, guess what? I'm going to manifest some great things here. How? Well, I don't need to know how, but I know energy at the same frequency can bring things to me. So that's a different, and it gives you more energy, more vitality, more inspiration. Isn't that beautiful?
And I never really thought about it, but what you said there just really resonates in the aspects of us putting limits on ourselves, and even like as you said, your job title. Are you limiting yourself by thinking this is what I am? And in fact, you know, that could be your role in society as a mother, wife, your employment status. Do you know what I mean? All these things you are putting limits on your. It's kind of like an unconscious kind of limit. I can only aspire to this because that's where my position is. When really and truly, there's no limits. Do you know what I mean? It's universal abundance. So there's no limits. And we put those limits, or as you said, a lot of people are waiting to retire or waiting for things. That's another limit, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Societies played it down, our greatness. We are more than what we see. And this is the work we have to do. And we're going to take back the power and start appreciating. If we're more than what we see, tap into the greatness that was in us and tapping in, understanding that we have our mind and recalibrating, realigning, and upgrading our mind to higher consciousness, then things start to work for us on the physical, in the physical realm. And it is the common denominator for everything. The invisible creates the visible. All right. And if we understand that, then magic's going to happen and things will start to, we'll have breakthroughs. That's the thing what happens is breakthroughs. People will come into your life. You know, I've had people come into my life who want to do collaboration. They'll come in and want to do collaboration. You say, where did that come from? You didn't have to work hard for it. You manifested it. Isn't that beautiful? And you'll have, you know, all of a sudden something comes across your eye level where you say, hold a minute, that's a product I could deal with. You know, I could use that. You know, so there's umpteen ways of making money. Well, it really is a lovely subject to talk about because it gets people from poverty consciousness into prosperity consciousness. And I think that's where I would start with anybody. Start before you start running about money. work, train, understand how to have a prosperity mindset, and that then gets the ball rolling.
And so that, and
That's
that's
the winning.
about you reframing, not to of
Yeah.
poverty, but just reframing and saying, I live in an abundant world. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't have to worry. Do you know what I mean? Things come to me easily. This is
Yeah.
I deserve this. I'm happy. I'm living my life in joy. I don't want for anything. Do you know what I mean? Things come to me easily and abundantly. Just having those kind of thoughts can change how we feel about ourselves and how we feel
Yeah.
about the world, which means changing our frequency. That's what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Some people say, oh, you got to fake it to make it. I don't want to go. I don't like use that though, that terminology. But I would say to people, knowingness,
Yeah.
knowing how the game works. And when you know it, you know what you need to do. It's like, watch this, Sophia, being given a new set of tools. Oh, I didn't know it, but you've got tools inside of you that you now know how to use. It's
Yes.
like, Alice in Wonderland. Remember, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. But all along, it was her, Alice. It was always about you. And like you, Sophie, it's always about you, always about me. So if somebody's struggling and I want money, I said, now you're saying, I'm ready to upgrade me. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. I'm ready to upgrade me. Because once you've upgraded yourself psychologically, align yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and you start feeling opulent before, that's putting the horse before the cart. Feeling opulent first, you've got a prosperity mindset, you're good to go. You've got a wind in your sail and watch your magic flow in your life. It's happened for me. I've got, people collaborate. I had a therapy room, I couldn't fill for about a year or so. So I really got into this. I just got into this. I've got to get into this. There's no good knowing this knowledge and not using it. So I had this therapy room I couldn't fill. So I saw it being filled in my mind, sensed it, and I just was grateful for it. And guess what? I've got several people in there. They're fighting to get in there. Wow, they're fighting to get in there. And that is what And if you've got clients, see yourself having more clients. See it and feel it. Oh, this is like, watch this, Sophia. This is like winning the lottery. Come on, Sophia. This is like winning. So you don't need to. This is the lottery, baby. This is the lottery. If you can understand it, you've won the lottery. It's good as.
I know that you speak about journals a lot and the importance of journals, and I suppose that just writing things down, not only writing about what you want to manifest, but also having gratitude for what you have now. I can see that there could be a benefit in that as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that, Sophia. Let's go through some tips on what people can do. All right. So, first thing first, I'm a great believer in gratitude. Live your life in great gratitude. I'm very grateful. I'm going around in my life. I'm grateful. I mean, I'm in one of the best hotels in Cyprus, and I'm going to invite you and friends over here. I'm living the best life ever, and it's also gratitude. You really have to have this gratitude about your life and your existence on life and your family and your friends. Just gratitude. That's the first thing first. Always you say breathing. I'm a great component of breathing. Learn to breathe so you can bring down your brain frequency, so you're not oscillating and vibrating a beta, you're more in an alpha state. If you Google, anybody wants to look at this, alpha state and manifestation. If you're more in that brain frequency, you're manifesting. So breathing is very good. Breathing, yes, relax your body. Yeah. And then I'd get people into meditating. See yourself opulent. See yourself being opulent. A lot of people can't get there. One of my favorite books on this is Maxwell Moe, as it's called Psycho-Cybernetics. About self-identification. So see yourself already being opulent. It takes time. This requires self-work. You've got to do it yourself.
Imagination.
And once you do that,
imagination.
Yeah, absolutely.
See yourself that, is it like you're looking at what you want. For example, if you wanted a bigger house or to live somewhere else, to imagine yourself, what it would feel like to be living there, to what would your neighbors look like, what would the shops look like, what would your room look like, how would you change it? So it's like using your imagination in a positive way, like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got these cognitive abilities,
Mm,
Sophia, which is beyond words. We don't use them accordingly. And like you just said, for me, I say to people, your perception of reality, if your perception of reality is vast and you know you live in this abundance universe and that things are attracted to you, and then you've got the imagination stroke intuitiveness, the imagine and feel. So get in your meditation, imagine, visualize it, see it and feel it. This is work for people to do. You have to do this
yeah.
if you want to get on this side of manifestation.
Mm,
And then straight after that, you look at one of my favorites, keeping a journal. Journal is my almost my backbone to my mentorship. You've got to get into journaling about how you're feeling, and writing down these affirmations, writing them down, these prosperity affirmations. And let me give you a nice heads up on this one, on manifestation. 369. The 369, taken from the great Nikola Tesla. And 369 is the language of the universe.
mm,
Now, if you was to write down, I am a millionaire, let's say I am, and you felt it and you meant it, yeah, and you wrote that down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times in the evening, and you did that religiously,
mm,
things will start to shift in the universe for you, let's say, or money flows to me in a abundance, or you put down a figure, I'm so grateful I'm receiving 10 grand a month, and you did that 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the evening, in the afternoon, and 9 times before you go to bed, to impress your subconscious mind. Manifestation.
mm.
Can you see how subtle life is? Because it's all based on subtler energy. That's the common denominator here. Everything's energy.
Okay. And there's actually research now saying that that they missed out the 12. Actually, 12 is a no. We go to 10 decimal 10, but it's actually the 12. There's actually research now that 12 is important. So the 3, 6, 9, 12.
Yes,
So yeah, and for
yes,
some reason they edited that bit out. And then started
absolutely.
at
Yeah.
10. Yeah, yeah. So it's
You know
so
what?
interesting to know how before how history, how that ancient knowledge is just so vital to life, and how much we've lost in these modern days. We think that we've gained so much, but in fact we've lost a lot, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? And things and lots of
You know
information.
what? So I could come with. Yeah, yeah. We got to go back, Sophia, to
Yeah,
come forward. We've got to come back to go forward. We've got to go
definitely.
back, you know,
Yeah,
ascertain, extrapolate, taking this ancient knowledge and move forward now. We can't do it the regular mindset now. We're going to lose the regular mindset because it's caused a lot of depression, anxiety, and worry, and all of that. About we're going to say, right, let me take 2 giant steps back. Let me go back and let's start reviewing this, start studying this, and start processing it, assimilating it, and taking massive action.
definitely, definitely. And I suppose to understand as well for me, what is wealth? Even that to have that question, because some people might think
Yes,
lots of money would be their life would be happier, and sometimes having a lot of money can cause more problems. Do you know what I mean? So it's understanding what is wealth for you, and that might be connection. That might be, as you said, being in a different place, it being in the sunshine, like what you're doing, and not being in the cold. Lots of different ways in how we can manifest wealth and what wealth means for us. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you're right. It's about sitting down, taking that time out to unpick exactly what we want, and then taking those steps to manifest it, to imagine it, to believe it, to have the energy for it, and to bring it into existence. So thank you so much.
absolutely.
Absolutely amazing. If somebody wants to get hold of you, what do they do? What's the best way to contact you?
Bless you, Sophia, through yourself, Sophia, and also my website, Wellness Academy Global, Michael Reed. I'm deeply grateful, Sophia, and I'm hoping this information really does help somebody out there, because there's a lot of people that could do with hearing this over and over. And if you need to listen over and over, please listen and contact Sophia or myself. we'd be only too happy to put you in the right frame of mind.
I definitely think that having somebody to support you through that journey can be beneficial. Having like-minded people around you. So I definitely recommend people come to your website. I know that you've got resources on your website, and people can contact you and your team. So that's something that can happen as well. So definitely, this is a time to not just to think about it, but to take action. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Sophia. Yeah, let's make the world a better place. Thank you.
Definitely. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye-bye.
I believe one day, I believe in the future. I believe in the past. I believe what you truly desire, you can bring to pass.